Hey there, it's Liam. I've been doing a lot of thinking about how we use LLMs in our go to market workflows. Specifically, how do we save costs? Now, the last week, I've been working on a personal project, just trying to dive into some low and no code tools to understand this world a little better. And I think I've come up with a pretty neat and lightweight way to save potentially a lot of money on running the same data through AI over and over again. Now, why would we be running the same data over and over? From my perspective, there's two big use cases for AI in like a GTM growth focus. One is those creative outputs where maybe we're brainstorming with a chatbot or we're calling an API in order to write a sentence or write part of a message to help deliver a personalized email to a prospect. That's a creative output, different input each time, different output each time, non-deterministic. We also have a lot of deterministic workflows. A lot of them are just running on standard kind of computer logic, if else, matching stuff. But what if we wanted to insert AI into those workflows? So an example could be I need to normalize all of the titles in a specific data set because we're then going to use those titles in outreach or in creating a persona field in our CRM. I don't want to send a prospect an email with their title formatted in a really strange way that, yeah, maybe it's the way they put on their LinkedIn, but colloquially doesn't make sense. So I have a standard, or I have a standard that's really human readable and machine readable, always has the level of the person up front, something like that. You're going to have a lot of people who, have their titles in kind of weird ways when you are looking them up on different systems, right? Their titles are going to be very strange. If you acquire that contact from maybe like an event list, maybe they typed it all lowercase and it looks kind of weird. But also a lot of people are just going to write their title exactly the same, maybe exactly how you want it written. You don't need to run every single row in your entire CRM and your entire list that you're working on through an AI check to make sure that everything is formatted correctly. We just need to do it one time, and any subsequent time we see that occurrence, we're just going to call the previous lookup we did rather than spending credits. So let me show you how this works. It's pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to provide you with all of the files just in a GitHub repo that you can download and play for yourself if you want to. Let's jump in. In front of us, I have a really simple Google Sheet. I have two tabs, people, which essentially think of it as like a people table in Clay. Just wanted to keep it really lightweight for today. And title normalizer. This is where we're storing what we've done in the past. So you can build this in Clay, in Cargo, any system where you can make HTTP requests and send webhooks. This will work in any tool. I've just built it in Sheets for simplicity's sake. What are we trying to accomplish? Well, I want to make sure all of my titles are in the right format. Let me show you how we do that. So I'm going to bring this. Oh, hello, come on. So this is my workflow in N8N. If you're not familiar with N8N, it's a low, no-code tool, basically a flowchart. You're connecting nodes and you're maybe sometimes putting in some code. If you're not really sure how to do JavaScript, kind of like I am, ChatGPT, Claude, they're your friends, iterate. But again, I'm going to give you the code and all of the files here. So you don't even need to do any of that. You can just upload it into your N8N instance. What are we looking at here? We got a data input section. We have a check to see, hey, have we seen this particular variant of the title before? If yes, we're just going to take what we determined as the normalized output and insert it into the Google Sheet. And if no, we're going to run it through the AI workflow and then not only insert that normalized title into the Google Sheet, but we're also going to save those keys. So we're going to save the original key value pair, the title that's maybe malformed, and normalize the title that is formed correctly according to you or your AI. Let's run this. Let's take a look at what is actually going on here. So I'm going to hit test workflows so the webhook is listening. And I've got $R over here, and I'm just going to write dir IT. Cool. So this Google Sheet is just waiting for any edits in column C, and it just chucked it over to N8N. Let's break this down. N8N received the data. N8N pulled the data. So title check is actually looking at the data in title normalizer. It's saying, have I seen it before? In this case, it had not. It's merging the data, and then it's asking if it found a match. If I go here, I put some notes for simple human readable. The true branch, the data has already been matched. Insert normalized data. False branch, data has not been matched. Proceed to normalization. So what happened here? We see that this match confirmed node stopped the workflow. So it hadn't seen it before, and it proceeded through the entire LLM part of the workflow. So Dalinar's title variant, the way he wrote the title maybe on his LinkedIn, or the way he wrote it on like an event sign up form, and we imported that maybe 5 years ago, and it's just been floating around in the database. We just cleaned that up. That cost us barely any money at all, right? But if we ran it again, so let's clear these. Let's listen, and let's do dir IT. Say this is a different person, not Dalinar. You'll see a different thing happening here. The LLM part of the workflow never triggers. Instead, it says, oh, I've seen this before. It was in title normalizer. And it just inserts it. And so we have director of IT. So over really large data sets, this could be really, really cost saving and efficiency gaining. If we look at the pricing for Anthropic, I used 3.7 Sonnet because I wanted to use a high quality model. I wanted high quality outputs. I figured the trade-off was worth it. We look at that. We look at the pricing for Clay. I just looked at the pro pricing because you've got CRM integration, webhook, all that kind of stuff. And then we look at the actual costs. So the cost per prompt, if you're thinking about like the public prices, the cheapest one is 1.3 cents. The most expensive is like 7.5. If you're an enterprise, it's probably falling in between. Is that the same prompt that we just ran through N8N cost me 1 credit when I ran it through Clay. So we know it's 1 credit, super simple. We know what 1 credit costs. But when I calculated the per token pricing input and output, it cost me half a cent to run that through Anthropic's latest model, 3.7 Sonnet. This last row in this table is assuming that half of the data that you're inputting has already been seen before. So you can just change the formula, right? If you think only 25% of the data you've seen before, you can kind of figure out what your costs are going to be there. I think a lot of people write their titles the same. So we can see here, let's assume you're getting a really great deal. That would cost you $1,300 to do 100,000 runs of this. If you ran it with the workflow that I showed, and if 50,000 of those runs had data that you'd seen before, it would cost you $250. Massive savings. So I think there's a lot of applications for using a workflow like this. I'm really excited to get it into people's hands. I want feedback. Let me know what you think. Where would you use something like this? I think the possibilities are endless. Thanks, guys.